Thanks, Bailey, for joining the podcast.
Yeah, no problem. I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah. So how are things? How's life?
Good. It's a little busy, just hectic, studying a
Yeah.
lot. I just finished a book report, so now that like my major assignment is done, I just feel like a little bit more calm.
Yeah. You mentioned you've been going to school for osteo for has it been a year already?
I'm almost in my first year, and then there was like a 6 month introduction before this, so
Oh,
a little bit over a year now.
yeah. So you're so busy. So I think osteo is really cool because we know Zach and I've been seeing him for
Yeah.
treatment.
How long has that been that you've been seeing that?
I think I saw him like at least ten times. So maybe
Okay.
almost a year or something like that.
That's crazy. I remember kind of your first even treatment.
Yeah, because you stop by sometimes just to see and get, I guess, feedback or tips from Zach.
Yeah.
And I think it's really cool. I'd never heard of osteopathy before I talked to Zach and learned that he did it.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to describe it either because the way I tell people is like it's like targeted stretching. I don't know if that's accurate.
Yeah, there's so many different ways I think to describe it for the intended person, but essentially it's kind of like the way that I describe it to that like my clients of any sort would be like it's kind of like massage in Cairo, except it's a very gentle on barrier, figuring out where things don't move and we just make it move again. And then your body just self heals and regulates itself that as the days go on after treatment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zach will explain it totally different though. Like
Yeah. Yeah, it's I definitely noticed that like whenever he treats me, like like I won't feel any different sometimes for a day or two,
yeah.
but it's like very minor too. It's I don't know, like I think I notice a difference when I get a treatment, but would most people? I don't know. Like
I know one of my friends does not feel any different after. And he's kind of like, does osteo even work? Like he questions it. And we have this little like debate, I guess, about it after.
yeah.
Um, but I think there's small things that people don't notice, especially young people that move so well to begin with,
Mhm.
or people that are really not in tune with their body is another half of it. So I think it really just depends on the person more or less. But most people
Yeah.
feel it from the feedback I've heard.
Yeah. I think it's like you said, the people who will be coming for an osteo treatment 9 times out of 10, I'm just pulling that number out of nowhere,
Probably.
would probably be like they would be having some issue they want to get resolved that's been nagging at them for years. Like
Exactly.
for me, it's like my neck's been weird for years. So any small change, I'm very sensitive. Just like, oh, that's something different.
Yeah.
But if it was just like, I don't know, like aches and pains, I don't know if I would even go, right? So
I know it depends. Like I get aches and pains all the time. Like I'll come in and I'm like, oh, my neck hurts or like my back hurts. And then Zach treats me and I notice a difference like right away. But again, I'm so aware of my body and body mechanics and stuff. So that could be why too.
right. Because you have the background in training as a personal trainer.
Yes.
But that's how we met
Yeah, the gym.
at the gym. So yeah, it's cool that you've gone from that to osteo. How did you get into training to begin with?
Uh, so I used to do karate as a kid.
Okay.
And then I hated the whole like kata aspect and like I don't know the whole movement part of that, but I liked working out. And then once I got my black belt, my mom said I could finally quit. And then I needed to fill up my like free time, so I signed up as a gym as a oh the word's not coming to me. Like I was just doing like volunteer work there. And then I did that for like maybe 6 months to a year. Then I got a job there. And then after I watched the trainers and would shadow them, and I was like, oh, I want to do this all the time. And then that's kind of what got me into training.
Oh, that's cool. Were you getting your hours or something for volunteering?
Yeah, for high school.
High school.
But I did so many because I just loved being there. So any opportunity I could to like spend longer at the gym, I would.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. That makes sense. Like that's kind of how I get into things. You're just kind of around something and then you get interest
Yeah,
and then you transition to the training role. So,
exactly.
wow. So
Yeah.
how did you like it? Like,
Um, I actually loved it from the minute I like stepped in. I was like, man, this was just like my calling almost. Like I liked watching people get a little healthier, achieve goals. Um, I really like someone who has drive. So everyone that goes to the gym pretty much has like a drive or like an end goal that they're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
So I thought it was cool to watch every different person come in and find something different for them because it's a huge variety is what you can get, like weight loss, muscle gain, even mental health now too is a big player from just going to the gym. It's just cool watching that aspect of it.
Yeah, that's something that's changed, from like 10, 15, 20 years ago. Like when I was in high school, more than 10 years ago, um, you'd work out for like sports, like track and field or football or whatever. And mental health is never something someone talked about. Like, oh, you just work out because you want to feel better.
Yeah.
Then the question is like, well, why bother working out? You're not really training for anything. But that's cool that like nowadays it's so common.
I know I agree. A lot of people do it now for their mental health. Like I think therapists finally like recommend it to their clients and doctors
Oh,
even too, which is cool.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because you feel good. Like,
Yeah, it's all about those endorphins that get released, right? After you exercise.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
I know I've worked out enough gym and running and otherwise. You kind of have a sense like if you don't want to train or work out, you kind of know if that's because maybe you're burnt out, in which case I might not do anything
Of course,
or
yeah.
like go for a walk or something. But if it's just like I feel okay, but I just don't want to go, you just go, you show up, and then you just start doing it. Maybe like 20 minutes in, you'll start feeling good.
Exactly. And like I find even when you have a personal trainer, like when you were seeing Barry at the time or now Nathan, like
Yeah.
it's just that extra push to get there when you don't want to go. So it kind of works out so well. And then you have fun with the person. Then you
Yeah.
kind of look forward to going even when you're a little stressed out.
So for me, the personal training is so important because it's like I have an appointment twice a week and I
Hmm.
don't like canceling appointments. I feel terrible
Yeah.
and I don't want to be late for
I
appointments.
don't think you really ever canceled on Barry when I was there.
Once in a while, something comes up, you
Yeah.
cancel, but
But
for
you
the
were
most
very
part.
consistent.
So it's a trick for me. I know, like if I've paid for something and it's a scheduled appointment, I don't want to go. Let's just show up. And if I'm really in bad shape, like we'll just do something a little easier or something.
Yeah.
But at least you do it and get
Exactly.
through it.
There's always something I think, especially so I've been in training for like 7 years now. I find there's always something you can do with a client, no matter how injured they are or tired or whatever the case may be, emotionally exhausted. Like there's something that you can do for your clients in that hour, whether it be stretching. Sometimes I've had my clients in a back room and they bawled to me because their boyfriend's broken up with them. Yeah. Which I never expected to be able to help as a trainer, but you get through that little talk and then you jump on the floor, you do some cardio, you do some stretching, you get just things moving a little bit, and you can be surprised with what you're able to achieve in that hour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it's interesting because you're as a client, you're seeing someone week after week. I don't know if it's like this with all clients, but like I end up sharing personal things and then
Yeah.
trainers kind of invested in your well-being both physically and whatever's going on in your life. So then it's not surprising that someone would just like start crying and be upset for some very major like
Like
breakup or
something.
something.
Exactly. I think there was one point in time where I was spending more time with my clients than I was with my actual friend.
Oh no.
So it makes sense. A lot of my friends are back home,
Okay.
but it makes sense that if I'm seeing someone 3 hours a week, that they would be a huge part of my life now. Sometimes for work, they're making up sessions, right?
Right.
And I'm seeing them consistently like that every single week. So it makes sense that clients turn into like family at that point almost because you see so much of them. You have to enjoy their company to want to work with them to begin
Yeah.
with. A lot of us like handpick our clients too.
Mhm.
So if we don't want someone, and or I don't mean it that we don't want someone, but if like we're not on the same page with our morals and values, we're just like, okay, this person would be a better fit for you than I would.
Right.
So it's not really we just get to pick who we would like to train. So it's nice that
Yeah,
way.
it should be good for both the trainer and the client, right? Like you said, like if there's a client who wants to be a power lifter,
Not
I
for
don't think you
me.
do powerlifting, right? So
No, I tried a little bit, but it was not for me.
no, yeah,
Yeah. The lifts are cool, but that's about it.
yeah. I don't think I would do it either because
No.
it's just like I don't know. If you lift heavy, you just feel sore all the time. So
Yeah. And I think it takes the fun out of like it'd be nice to watch my weights go up every single week like that. But I don't know. It just I think takes the fun out of like I'm such a bodybuilding kind of girl. Like that's where I like grew up like lifting wise. So I just think it takes the fun out of that aspect of it.
so how does the bodybuilding work? Like how do you quote unquote sculpt your body and make a
Yeah.
plan for that?
So I find it's kind of like you'll do an initial assessment with a client and you just kind of it's even body too, where when you step on stage, you have to be like visually appealing and every like both your delts have to be very symmetrically the same. Same with your pecs, same with your abs. So these are things that they look at. So as a coach, you would examine someone's body and be like, okay, your quads are great, but your hamstrings are lacking. So I wouldn't have them stop training quads, but I would do more hamstrings involved with that.
Okay.
And then so you want to bring asymmetry to the body, and then you want to get them to train at a very high intensity, but people will do like 8 to 12 rep range, I find, for bodybuilding, a lot of machines. It's funny saying this now that I'm in osteo school, but you want to do a lot of like isometric exercises essentially. So like a bicep curl or like a leg curl or a leg extension. Although your muscle doesn't work in isolation,
Right.
it'll just target that muscle a little bit more on its own. So that's kind of what bodybuilding is like,
Okay.
following like a stricter diet if you're stepping on stage.
See, because like I get that people do it and I know that people enjoy it,
Yeah.
but like I just can't get into it personally. Like I try to imagine myself bodybuilding,
Yeah.
and the first question would be like, why are you doing this?
You do have to have a strong why. Like it needs to be more for yourself, like
Yeah.
than anything, I think. And it's not for everyone, right? Like it's a very regimented lifestyle,
Mhm.
I would say. Like one of my best friends does it, and so does my boyfriend. And it's just so like you have to be mentally there for it. Like they train 6 days a week, they take one rest day. Like
Mhm.
it doesn't always have to be to that extent, but these are people that step on stage or want to be stepping on stage, right?
But is it like purely for an aesthetic result?
Both my boyfriend and best friend, it's for basically their businesses.
Oh,
So they're both personal trainers online.
okay.
So it's kind of like putting that message out there that they can transform their bodies, they can get this big, they can do it themselves, so they can do it for you too. Yes, I'm sure it's aesthetics too. Like my
Yeah,
one
yeah.
girlfriend loves being lean. Like my boyfriend wants to be 300 pounds. Like, yeah, I know. I know. I'm like excited to see his process of it. Yeah.
Okay.
But they take it so intensely, right? So
Yeah.
I think it started with a passion themselves.
Yeah.
Whether like he started with hockey, she started with hockey as well, and soccer, I think. And then she had an injury, so she turned to the gym. And then I think it just progressed from there. She loved lifting heavy, and then she put on some really good muscle.
Okay.
So I think it starts with a little bit of a passion for it, and then it developed more when it became their careers.
That's pretty cool. Like that's a good approach. It's like like a leader who demonstrates what they can do is always easier to follow.
Exactly. And when your coach looks amazing, you want to follow in their footsteps,
You'd be
right?
like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
You did that? Okay.
exactly. Or I'd be like, oh my God, this is my coach. Like, check her out. Like, it's a fun thing to say too. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Because
Yeah.
like my approach going into the gym, well, initially going into it was like, I would have aches and pains day to day. Couldn't sit for too long without back pain, etc. So my goal has so far in the last 2 years been I just want to be generally mobile and carry a lot of groceries without problems.
Yeah.
Um,
Has it changed at all now?
oh yeah, absolutely. My posture is a lot better. I'm standing straighter. And Zach's always saying, "Oh, look at your lats." I'm so uncomfortable when he mentions that.
But your lats have developed so much. I think it's from all those pull-ups you guys were doing.
It,
Mhm.
it's so awkward being complimented, but
Right?
it's like I think I must have some kind of very very like minute body dysmorphia because like I was always skinny,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
now I'm just. It's fine if I'm looking in the mirror, but if someone notices, I'm like, oh, it's
Really?
weird.
Okay, so when we were complimenting you the other day, it was like weird, eh?
But yeah, no, it's fine. I appreciate it,
Yeah.
But yeah, I have noticed a big difference. I've run, so running is easier. Like I've been running for years, but before training regularly, you get like you get. I feel like my legs recover faster after running. Like they don't hurt as long.
Oh, really? After training at the gym?
Yeah, after having training 2 3 times a week consistently. So I really like that. Plus, I just they say just the general wisdom is if you want to maintain your health as you get older, you want to be doing weight training, lifting things. It'll keep your body and your joints, everything strong. So
I think it's
that's
like
what I'm.
after the age of 30, you start losing muscle already.
Yeah,
So, which is so crazy.
starting now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool. Wow. So yeah, you did training for a long time. So it must have been hard to. You're not training right now, or are you still training?
Like I'm just generally like training in what aspects?
I like personal training.
Oh, so I've been doing not in person anymore. I think I'm gonna start that up in the fall when I'm like permanently in London a little bit more, just take on like 2 clients. But I have a couple of clients that I train virtually online through Zoom or FaceTime, which is still fun because I get to travel as much as I want, and then I can, um, still have that face-to-face contact.
Yeah.
But mostly I just send programs off to people. I'll call them once a week, check in, see how they're doing, follow up with their nutrition, which you can help so many more people that way than just being in person.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And are those yeah, that's nice to be able to keep up with that. Well, yeah, speaking of like online training, it's kind of tangentially related. Before COVID,
Mhm.
I used to go for weekly yoga classes in downtown London.
Oh, yeah.
The classes used to be above this building across from Williams
I
on
think I
Richmond.
know exactly what you're talking to. My friend works at, or does yoga there. If it's still the
Oh yeah,
same.
Yoga Center London.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay,
Small world.
it's good. Anyway, they moved to online,
Yeah.
and now they're doing once a month in class. So I've been going, but I never wanted to do online before because it was like you don't. It's just nice to be in person because the
Yeah.
teacher will come and literally adjust your posture.
Yeah. And I
But
feel like we also didn't know back then that it was a possibility even too, right?
oh, to do online?
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
It was like foreign.
it was just for her, I'm sure the business owner, it was like a way to keep the business going.
Yeah.
People were interested. But now because she has the monthly classes, now I'm okay doing the online classes.
Are you? Yeah.
So I haven't started yet, but I plan to in September. So I think that's cool. Like if you are keeping it up online, but you also have some kind of
In person.
physical, maybe personal history or relationship or appointments. I think that's great. I don't. I think it's great people want to do online if they can keep it up. I don't know if I could do strictly online.
Yeah, I do get it. It is a little weird, to be honest. All of the clients that I have online, like I've had a personal connection with for years and years. So the transition to go online was so effortless.
Mhm.
Signing up new clients that I've never really met before and getting them just to do virtual training or just like coaching aspect, I find that really weird.
Yeah.
Very weird. For all of my clients soon, one of my best friends is getting her yoga degree. So once a month, I'm going to do like a whole, like all my clients come together and do yoga with her. So I'm curious to see, you're welcome to join when I like actually have it. Yeah. But I'm curious to see how that goes because that just ties into the fact, is it going to be weird? Is she going to be able to cue properly? Like, especially being a new teacher. So these are things like as a new coach, you get that hands-on experience with people where going online after was so effortless because I knew all the cues in my head. We're strictly teaching online. You don't know those cues yet because you don't know how the average population runs. So it'll be fun to see how that plays out.
Oh, is that yoga class going to be online?
Yeah, like I'm going to do it through Zoom and then just send people a link and whoever kind of wants to show up once a month. But I want to make it like a community thing for my clients.
That makes sense. So I've done, I think, one online class.
Yeah.
And I learned pretty quickly, most people just turn their camera off and the teacher keeps it on.
Yeah.
So mine was on for like 10 minutes. Oh,
I'm not the
Yeah.
instructor. Yeah. I think it's good though, because so I've been to a couple like online yoga classes. And if you keep your camera on, the instructor eventually, after coaching you through the movement,
Yeah.
will look around at her camera. And it's easy because then you can see what people are doing if the camera's far enough away. So she'll be like, oh, I think you should arch your back more, pull your shoulders down. Or
Yeah.
if she notices that one person's doing it with their camera on, and the people that have their cameras off, she can just kind of verbally say some things to remind them to do the same. So I would encourage everyone to keep their cameras on because it's beneficial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
Unless you're self-conscious, then I understand. But
yeah, no, it's a good question. Good thing to think about. I don't know. I
yeah.
guess I'll find out.
Yeah, you'll have to tell me how that goes after.
Wow. That's so cool.
I think it ties people together too. Like my friend does it with all of her clients, and it was fun to see everyone's face. Like I think the way that she was running her business online was she was doing like group coaching calls and then private clients. So it was nice to see everyone come together. And some of the girls would follow each other on Instagram or something, and they would all have to cheer each other on in this little like app that she had. Like it was really cool to bring a community of people around the world together, which thought was cool. I think she had one client in New Zealand. I'd have to double check, but it was wild.
That's a time difference of half a day.
Yeah. So you schedule it kind of at night for us, middle of the day for her on a Saturday or something. And it works out very well. She showed up to quite a few of them.
And how does group coaching work?
Yeah, it's really cool. I've done one group coaching, not myself, but through like a mentorship.
Mhm.
And the way that she ran it was she did a basic program for all of us to follow.
Okay.
So it wasn't individualized, where I think my friend makes hers individualized to a certain degree. And then once a week we would chat on Zoom. So she was from Australia. So I think at one point I was getting up at like 2 a.m. to jump on her calls. And we would just talk about how the week went, our wins. We would talk about like things that were going well. She'd give each of us like 5-10 minutes to talk.
Mhm.
And then she would kind of give us some advice. And then we would all kind of chime in if we had any questions or concerns. So it was really easy. It's just, I think it builds a community of people that are going through the same exact thing as you,
Right.
where sometimes you don't always have that in a gym aspect or with a one-on-one coach as a trainer.
Right. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun actually. We would definitely do it again. I'm trying to develop my own group training aspect of some sort that I could do with people to get like a community, like a little bit of a bigger community without a bigger price tag involved.
Oh, so it would be like some kind of common workout routine for everyone, like a simple thing.
And then I think the way I want to run the group calls is so we've started this already, me and my friend. I'm just like really slow on the business aspect of things
Yeah.
with everything going on. But we're gonna do like live lectures once a week, and we're gonna talk about like squat mechanics. We're gonna talk about bench. She's gonna do more of the mind, body, spirit aspect of it to bring both realms together. And then because I love coaching and I miss kind of cueing people on certain moves. So then I can kind of break down the movement pattern, the muscles involved, tie it into osteopathy a little bit if I can, some principles. Yeah, so I think we want to kind of let that go September, October.
Yeah.
But it'll be really fun when it kind of comes out.
Wow. You really love training and coaching, I can tell.
Yeah, it's a huge passion of mine. It always has. I think I love bossing people around to a certain
Oh.
degree and like getting results, right? And I find this is just something I'm naturally good at.
Yeah.
The like cueing parts, I've done it on myself for many years, so it just comes very natural. I can see what people are doing wrong really easily, so
Oh.
or not as efficient, I should say.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's always better to have someone watching you. Like my guess is even as a trainer, it always helps for you to get feedback from someone else
Yeah.
because you might miss something.
Oh, honestly, yeah. Like I've trained with Zach a bunch of times. I've trained with Adam.
Yeah.
I trained with Nathan once, and it's nice to have that second set of eyes.
Yeah.
When I was doing my coaching call, it was kind of like a mentorship too. So it was from a physiotherapist in Australia, and she would have us film our workouts, or like it was the major lifts, so like a squat, bench, or deadlift,
Yeah.
and she would critique it like our form and then give me feedback. So the next day I would have to be like, okay, now she wants me to like arch my back a little bit higher, but not from my like lower thoracics. It has to be my upper back. And it made all my lifts stronger. It made me a little bit more confident in the gym. Kind of sucked filming my workouts at a small aspect, but it got me more comfortable with that even too.
Right.
So it was super beneficial.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you training for anything right now?
No. Right now, I'm just trying to find balance between school and
Yeah.
working out because I find it a little challenging. I mentioned to my boyfriend that I want to compete again, and then he was like, "You don't need something else to do." I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, but I want to." So I think what I'm gonna try to do is if I can get my calories up to 2,500 within the next like 6 months, 7 months,
Mhm.
then I might try to compete next summer. It's on my bucket list, but I just don't know how school's gonna go. So if I can kind of get my calories high enough and stay as active as I can, so like probably average like 4,000 steps right now if I'm not being mindful of it with all the studying. So if I can get that up and it's effortless, then I'll compete next summer.
In the bodybuilding, like
Yeah.
okay. Wow.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it for so long. I did a couple when I was in college and I loved it.
Yeah.
Um, but it was like having an extra like part-time job, right? And I
Yeah.
don't know if I'd want to write exams when I'm like so depleted
Right.
and feeling like shit. So
That makes sense.
yeah.
It's exciting. So, is it? Do you enjoy tracking your calories? Because it doesn't sound fun.
I actually love it
Okay.
because I think I don't know, there's something fun. Like I love cooking to begin with. So I think there's something so fun with finding very simple foods and making into something very extreme.
Okay.
Excuse me. So like once I think all I had in my fridge was pineapple, chicken, and cottage cheese.
Okay.
But I made the pineapple and cottage cheese into like a sauce for the chicken, and it tasted phenomenal. And
Oh.
I got so much protein out of it. So it was like honestly really enjoyable. Like I like kind of stuff like that. Like I'll make protein cookies, like I make protein donuts, like just all of these like random things. Yeah. So counting my macros and stuff, like when I feel so much better, like my stomach and
Oh
my
yeah.
brain, yeah, which is obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's where a lot of people lack is the tracking. Not necessarily that they have to track and count calories, but even following like a little bit of a meal plan of some sort, like you see way better results like that. So when I see results, I'm like, oh, I'm doing something right. Like this feels good. It's almost like a science, I find it.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I've never found it annoying, which is weird. Yeah. Do you not enjoy? Have you tried it?
I have never tracked calories, but I did track protein intake for a while. Because when I was training with Barry, well, actually, I started for the first few weeks just taking pictures of my meals,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he would say, "Yeah, that's fine. That looks pretty good. Maybe avoid this,
It's a good way to start.
something like that." Then that kind of gave me the interest to track in a spreadsheet the protein intake.
Yeah.
So that's not bad. Like I can do it for a while. I think I did it for a month or two,
Hmm.
but then I just got bored. I was like, "This is a lot of work."
Yeah. It is. It very much so.
But I think it's good. I was talking to Nathan about this. Generally, it's for me. It would be good to track, for a week, every I don't know 1 month or 2 months, and
Yeah.
just get an idea, like a small subset of your intake, and kind of eyeball it, and you'll have a good sense. Oh, I didn't have enough today. Can have a little more tomorrow. But obviously, if you're tracking for training purposes, you need more detail than that.
Agreed. I think it's a time and a place kind of thing. I like
Yeah.
the aspect of, doing it once a month and seeing where you're at.
Yeah.
I think if you have a very specific goal, like I need to lose 30 pounds for my wedding in August, then like, okay, track. Like,
Mhm.
no doubt you will see the best results with that. But if you're kind of content, happy with where you are, you're in a good spot,
Mhm.
just getting a nice gauge is a good idea. Sometimes what I'll tell my clients to do is if they do track, just take a picture of that day, kind of like what you
Yeah,
did,
yeah.
and then post it on their fridge or write down the measurements and stuff. So if they ever want, they can reflect back and be like, okay, this is what 5 ounces of chicken looks like, or
Uh,
150 grams of rice. So they don't have to necessarily weigh it out, but they can eyeball it and have that reference now of what that looks like.
that's cool.
Yeah, there's so many different ways that you can approach it. Like I think even My Fitness Pal, the premium version, you can take pictures of your food
Yeah.
and it enters the calories and everything in it for it. Like it technically weighs it out. It's not super accurate, like I
Yeah.
can't see it being, but accurate enough. Yeah.
It's like I know personally, I have a good sense. If I look at my tummy and it's coming a little bit up, I'll
Yeah.
weigh myself, and then I'll be like, All right, so next time I'm not hungry but kind of hungry, yeah, probably don't eat.
Yeah, yeah.
When you've had enough but you're still hungry,
Yes.
it's it's kind of hard not to eat if you have the space. But
Or even just kind of like I find changing your food options. Like I met this girl the other week. I tried my first, like my, I'm gonna butcher the name. It's like Taekwondo, but it starts with an M, Muay Thai.
okay, yeah.
And I loved it. And she was telling me that so she moved to Bolton, and essentially Bolton is like two hills together. So she lives on the North Hill and her work is on the South Hill.
Okay.
And so it's Muay Thai. So she used to walk to work, which was like 20-30 minutes, and then go to Muay Thai for an hour and a half every night. And she just kind of started like changing her diet ever so slightly, like, smaller portions at first, more vegetables with things. She would almost like intuitively eat without really knowing it. I
Mhm.
think at one point she would just track her protein to make sure she was getting enough and then slowly backed out of that.
Mhm.
She lost almost like 50 pounds, I want to
Like
say.
50.
50, yeah.
Okay.
She looks amazing. Like the difference is crazy. Um, she it's funny because she'll call herself a little dense, but she holds a lot of muscle, which is really good.
Right.
And Muay Thai is just a lot of, in my opinion, cardio. Like it's very, very intense. A lot of punching, a lot of kicking, a lot of technique stuff. But it was crazy to see her results from something that I didn't even know was possible in that aspect. Yeah, so I think there's a way for everyone to do it in their own way and own light, right?
Mhm.
And it's kind of training yourself to get into that spot. So she did it without the help of a trainer, but even if she had one, like her results would have been like even better than what she got, just because you
Right.
can fine tune at that point, someone else telling you what to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, even some coaches teach their clients to how to intuitively eat too, which I think is crazy.
Oh, you know what's funny? Barry was telling me, I think one day he took his client shopping. But
Me too.
yeah, you've done that too?
Yeah, we just charge them for it and we go around. Maybe we'll work out after, but we just teach them kind of things to eat. We'll plan ahead for it. I used to do it like 2 or 3 times with this one client I had.
Wow, did that help at all? Like,
I think
with that
so.
client?
With the client, yeah, it was. I think it was hard because she lived with her boyfriend.
Mhm.
So it'd be good for like the week that we went grocery shopping. We'd give her new ideas. I personally get really involved with my client stuff. So like I've been to her house before and I cooked a meal with her to like teach
Oh,
her like, this is how much olive oil you should put in your pan before sauteing vegetables. Like, yeah, just to really help them. So I think it taught her healthier eating habits, different options even to buy. Like um sometimes it's really easy to buy those like pre-made rice things.
yeah.
Yeah, like those Uncle Ben or
Yeah.
whatever. But some of them have like 6 grams of fat for half a serving or 7 or 8.
Okay.
So it's kind of even showing her the back of food packages and reading that out to them and being like, this is what you're looking for. Like, you don't really want saturated fats, like, and all of these little things. So I think she took away good habits from it. But she half applied it well, half didn't, just circumstance wise.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what your opinion is, but it seems like that's kind of what you can pass on to a client. Just like you teach them habits, you show them how to do things, but ultimately it would be up to them to apply it.
Yes, yeah. Like
Yeah.
we give everyone tools and it's what they want to do with
Yes.
them. So exactly that. There's some clients that like between me and my boyfriend have seen amazing results
Mhm.
and they follow everything to a T. But on his end, he doesn't really teach a lot. He's just like, okay, eat this, do this, great results. If they want to learn, he'll explain it to them.
Right.
But some of the guys he trains like don't really care. They just want to get big, so they follow what they say.
Uh,
Where like I find I personally try to explain everything to my clients
Mhm.
and I want them to know because I don't want my clients to be with me forever. I want them to be with me a short period of time.
Right.
Get my name out, let me coach their friends and stuff. But get the results they want
Yeah, yeah.
and be able to teach others the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Like I want to use it as a learning opportunity, not a you need me forever because then they feel
Yeah, yeah.
trapped. Where this, it's like they want to be here, they can gain some good insights. If they go to a restaurant, they know how to sub it in really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my approach to personal training, but
Yeah, that's funny. I never thought about it like that because, like, I got into, or I wanted to get a trainer because I wanted to get comfortable in the gym.
yeah,
I've done lifting in a gym and whatever, but I never feel like I'm doing it right, even if I am.
and
I'm
it's
just like,
new to our gym too when you signed up.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah, I
so it's
just like,
nice.
so like now after almost 2 years, I feel comfortable if I go into the gym and I don't have a session and I don't have a plan. I know like I can do 3 or 4 things pretty comfortably and then leave.
Yeah.
So the ultimate goal for me would be, well, I don't know about the ultimate goal. For now, it's nice to outsource a plan to somebody else
Yeah.
because then I don't have to think about
Oh my
what I
god.
have to do.
Yeah.
Um,
Which is so true, especially when you work all day and the last thing you want to do is go into a busy gym that's crowded. And it's nice that you get your own area too, right? With personal
oh yeah,
training,
yeah, yeah.
which I miss so much, like even just from working there. But it's nice not to have to think. Someone just tells you, someone corrects you. It's just you go through the motions of it. You're still learning quite a bit, to be very honest, from an in-person trainer.
Yeah, yeah. The
Mhm.
good part is like when I was training with Barry, he would recommend, come in twice on your own.
Yeah.
So I kept that up for a while. I can easily manage 3, but 4 times a week is hard. It's
Yeah.
twice with the trainer, once or twice on my own. But when I come in on my own, I like having a checklist. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm done.
You know what? For you personally, getting an online coach after would be like, say, like, because that's what you sound like you would be really good at because you built up your confidence.
Yeah.
You understand how to move your body and your body mechanics. So this is where I would always recommend like working with a trainer in person first. I
Mhm.
like the fact that you've been there for 2 years, even 3 years, some people even more, depending how they handle it.
Yeah.
And once you feel like you've got everything you can from that trainer, you either switch trainers to learn something new or new techniques, I find,
Mhm.
or getting it online. You just get a program from your trainer at this point.
Right.
It varies in price based off of their skills, their knowledge, and everything.
Right.
And then now you have that personal tech like checklist that you need, and
That's
you,
true.
especially if you feel confident in the gym, right?
Yeah.
You don't get the exclusive area anymore,
Yeah.
but those would be how I would like determine whether to go online or in person, essentially.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I never thought about it.
yeah. When Barry goes on vacation, did he ever leave you his like a program to do? Or
Well, we had a program, so
yeah,
I would just tell him, yeah, I'll just come in and do it.
yeah,
So
yeah, you would be fine for it.
yeah, I don't know. I like going.
Hmm.
I like having a change of scenery. It's like you're meeting someone, working out.
Yeah,
But the most important thing for me is because it's like twice a week, every week.
the accountability.
Yeah, that and if times are tough personally, it's like this is whether you're feeling good, bad, you don't want to be there, you would love to be there.
Mhm.
It's like if you have a habit and you keep doing it regardless of how you're feeling, that's how you build discipline, right? So
Yeah.
it's nice. It's like personally, it's a break from your personal life, and yeah, I think it works. It does get expensive, so we'll see when that comes into play.
Of course, of course. But honestly, I think if you can afford it and you have a good trainer, which you do right now and you did before with Barry, like it's a no-brainer to stay.
No, I think so
Yeah.
because like initially I like 3 years ago, I never would have thought of getting a trainer.
No.
And I saw my family doctor maybe more than 3 years ago. Yeah, and I just went to him saying like, "Oh, I have ache and pain here. This is the problem." So he gave me a checklist, not a checklist, but he said 4 things.
Yeah.
So I think it was one was go for massages, take hot baths.
Hmm.
He recommended some vitamins or something,
Hmm.
and then he said, get a trainer. And so I did it the first 3, and the trainer, I was like, I don't know if I need this.
Yeah.
And then like 6 months later, I was like, I've tried all these other things. I'm still having the same aches and pains. Let me give it a shot. Actually, no, when I signed up for Good Life, I wasn't even going to get a trainer.
Hmm.
One of the people at the desk, when you sign up, they give you a little spiel.
Yeah.
She told me, Chelsea, I think. She
Yeah.
told me, oh, we have this 4-session package. Or she was talking about the trainer, and I was like, I don't think I really need that right now.
Hmm.
And she said, I don't remember what she said, but she was like, oh, maybe you do need it, anyway, there was like a good package for 4 sessions.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's
I
like our
thought,
starter pack.
yeah, so I
Yeah.
thought, okay, I'm not sure. Let me do it for 4 sessions.
Yeah.
So I did it. I
With
loved it.
Barry.
No, I did it with Adam actually.
Oh no.
The first 4, yeah.
Oh, I forgot about
And then he put me with Barry.
that. Okay. I
It's
think
like
Barry's
he was like a level like 4 or
Or
5 or
yeah.
whatever. So I don't want to pay that much.
Mhm.
So
It gets so expensive at level 4. They just have more of a niche. Like when I quit, I was a level 4 and I just like couldn't even justify asking people for that money sometimes.
oh wow.
I felt not that I wasn't worth it by any means, because I think you get so much education, but I was like, this is just a lot of money for the people, my clientele that I had built up already,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's different getting a new client where you're like, oh, this is my worth, like here you go. But when someone that
Mhm.
that's been paying you from the get-go at like a certain amount, then you're just kind of like, oh, like, yeah, I know
Yeah.
better, but yeah, so I don't blame you for that. But I think Barry was a better fit too.
Barry was great. Yeah,
Yeah.
we had a great relationship. So I'm very happy with the training and everything.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. What's your goal now, fitness goal, right?
Well, I want to be in the gym 3 times a week.
Mm,
Um, so I have to come in once on my own. I have 2 sessions with Nathan. I kind of told him kind of what I want. Like I want better mobility and flexibility. My hamstrings are super tight.
yeah.
They've always been tight, probably 10, 20 years.
A lot of it's your sacrum too, though, the way it
Yeah.
moves. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I want to be mobile. I- it would I would love to be able to sit in like a meditation posture for like hours and just chill.
Yeah.
But eventually my back starts talking to me and
Mm.
ankle and my heel. So that's like a very long term goal.
That's a
So
good
I just told Nathan like, mobility, flexibility, and some exercises for bouldering because we go bouldering too.
Yeah, I want to come with you guys one
Oh
day.
yeah, yeah. It's so much fun.
Okay, Nathan keeps offering, but it's when I'm not in town or it's very last minute. But when I'm here more, I'm gonna reach out to you guys because I want to
Oh
come.
yeah, like these next 3 weeks are good because they're having a competition at the bouldering gym.
Yeah.
So we're probably going 2 or 3 times a week.
Oh, cool. Next time I'm down, I'll let you know. 'Cause I
Yeah,
think I should be back soon.
yeah, yeah.
It's so cool. How long have you been bouldering for?
Um, maybe almost a year.
Oh, that's a long time. And Nathan just started recently, right?
He joined a while ago too. I think we started around the same time because
Really?
me, Barry, and Nathan went. I think we went together for the first time.
Cool.
Yeah, Barry was most interested in it,
Really?
and then he just never showed up after the first.
I wonder if he got sore.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, my neck hurts," but never. I tried convincing him.
Yeah. At least he did it once with you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's fun. It's really fun.
Yeah. Do they have a gym in the bouldering gym too?
Like a lifting area?
Yeah.
No, but
Someone was telling me that there's one on like I think maybe the south end that has like a squat rack in it.
there's a bouldering gym called the Junction, which is the
Maybe.
original one, I guess.
Yeah.
I haven't been there,
Okay.
but they opened a second gym and they just call it J2. So
Oh, that's cool. Is
that's
it closer here?
yeah, it's behind the Mandarin on Hyde Park.
Oh, where's the clinic is? The Zach's clinic roughly.
Yeah, yeah, like
Just a little bit down.
a little farther, like the next traffic light, you take a left.
Cool.
It's back there. So yeah, it's fun. They have you can buy those boards where you can stick your fingers in and hang.
Yes.
They have some of those in there for like if you want to train your hang and stuff like that.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I've never seen that before. I'll have to
hard.
Google it out there.
It's very hard.
I know one of my friends, when I go to Hamilton for school, there's 4 of us that stay together. And me and one of my other friends were very, very active. Like after school, we like whip to the gym as soon as we can just to start moving after a long day.
Oh yeah.
And we've kind of inspired the other girls in our house to start moving too. So one girl actually started bouldering after school because there's a good bouldering gym there. Yeah, she said it was a little pricey. It was like $35. She comes from a smaller town, so I don't know what the average is for like a drop-in for the session. But she loved it. And I think she's gonna go back every single time. So we go off to the gym, we tell her like bye, she'll go bouldering, and then she comes back and she's like, I'm so sore.
Yeah.
I had so much fun. Yeah, it's really cool actually.
It's
Yeah.
really fun, and the best part is everyone's so friendly. Like,
That's what I heard too, which is so wild because the gym I think can be very unfriendly sometimes, but it sounds like more of a community when you boulder, right?
yeah, because it's always they have routes mapped out. So if you can't do it and someone is there, um, usually they'll just chime in like, "Hey, try doing it this way." Or if you see someone do it, if I see someone do it, I'll ask them, "How did you get from this hole to the next one?"
Oh,
And they'll be like,
cool.
"Oh, you gotta push your elbow into it or something." I don't know.
Is
Just
there
making
like
stuff.
yeah, yeah. Is there like a technique to bouldering?
Yes, but I have no idea what that is.
Okay.
So, um, I it's hard. Like I think if you can get it, it's fun. But like you're just always in some kind of weird position,
Yeah.
so you're kind of loading your joints in a weird position always.
Have you ever hurt yourself from bouldering?
Not seriously. Like there was one route I did a couple of days ago where you have to. It's like a big hole, so I was kind of pushing like this and pushing up. So
Oh,
then my arm was like sore and it
yeah.
hurt. But I went home. I ate some kashi cereal with protein powder and
Mm,
milk. I was
yeah.
like, oh, I feel better.
Oh, yeah. So it was just like a twinge almost.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but
Yeah.
one time I was there. Some girl fell. I think she like hurt her ankle. Maybe she twisted it, or she walked out on crutches. So
I guess so it can be a little like
it can be
dangerous.
dangerous
Yeah.
for sure. But
But even when you were going like this, like your scapula doesn't necessarily want to be in a position like that. So it's almost coming from like a string here. And until it can kind of, I don't know the language I want to use, so maybe this isn't going to be right, but kind of when you give it time to heal and be like, okay, your my scapula does not have to stay like this; it can go in regular position.
mhm.
I was actually shadowing an osteopath today, and he was saying a lot of shoulder injuries are because the shoulder is in improper position before loading. So a lot of people or a lot of trainers will say, "Hey, shoulders back and down," but I don't think they understand the purpose of it, and I didn't fully either. So you're engaging your lower traps, which kind of go all the way to the bottom of your rib cage almost.
Okay.
And by engaging your lower traps, you're setting your shoulder in the proper position that it actually wants to be moving in. So then when you lift up overhead, you can get a better range of motion,
Yeah.
pain free, even if you had a shoulder injury. Where if you were just kind of loose and overhead, like that actually physically hurts. So I wonder if that's kind of plays into your like shoulder tricep thing when you were
Mhm.
doing.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. It's fun. It's just like what I like is because it's so awkward. You're kind of learning. You're kind of teaching your body. It's like, can I do this? Can I? Because I think you're right. Like if you're doing lifting, like in the gym, you
Mm-hmm.
probably want very good
Good form,
loading for your
especially.
form.
Yeah.
But if you're just trying to climb, it's like, what can I do and what can't I do?
Yeah.
Because if you're just loading at a weird angle, but it's like
It's only for a
for
second.
5 seconds in a week, I think you're generally able to handle it, right?
I think so. Yeah, yeah.
But
Unless it's like a very overloaded pressure,
yeah,
but you would feel it and you'd be like, okay, I'm not strong in this position.
yeah,
I
yeah,
can't
I
go
would
forward,
bail.
right?
I
Yeah.
wouldn't. I've done that. Just like if I don't feel comfortable, I'll just jump off and
Oh,
try
do
again
you?
later. Yeah.
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 And when you try again, do you do the same route or do you just like what is that like?
Yeah. If I'll do the same one again and again until I get bored, and I'll move on to another one.
How many do they have set up? I really want to come with.
A lot.
Yeah.
For the competition, they have 20 specific routes every week for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
This is the second week. But other than that, they have a lot. Like pretty big place. They mark it with colors. I think like blue or white is the hardest.
Mm.
They'll have blue or white tape, and the holes themselves will be a different color. So you might have a red hole, blue tape.
Yeah.
So the color of the hole doesn't matter, but the blue tape would mean it's a very hard climb. And then you would start on the red, and you would only climb up using reds until you get to the top red.
Oh,
So
cool.
you know which way you're supposed to
Yeah.
go.
Are you and Nathan doing blue and white now? Or
No, that's like intermediate. I think he can do like a couple,
yeah.
but I don't really want to try it.
Oh no. So what color do you guys stay at?
I don't know the color scheme, but like
Okay.
so in the competition, there's novice, intermediate, and advanced. So our team is a team of three, two intermediate, and I'm the novice. So
Okay.
like
It's Nathan intermediate.
yeah, like I think I'm like borderline, almost intermediate, but
Yeah.
I don't think so. I just wanted to notice.
I could imagine. And who's the third person you're to?
Oh, we just met some guy there. His
Oh,
name's James.
cool.
He actually makes like 3D printed stuff. It's pretty cool.
Wild.
Yeah.
And how does that work? Do you know anything about it? It's like really off
You
topic.
you model it in some software
Yeah.
and then you print it. That's all I know.
And then it could be like a blanket kind of thing, or
Yeah, you can print 3D stuff. I don't know exactly how it works, but it's really cool.
oh, that's
So
wild.
like he makes like 3D models of like an Iron Man helmet, and then
That's incredible.
people will commission him for stuff like that. And
That's crazy. I have heard about it before too. I just didn't actually think it was like a legit thing. Like it just sounds so too futuristic.
yeah, future is now.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it personally, but I think you can buy a 3D printer for like $1,000, like a small one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I almost got one.
Oh, really? What were you
Then it
gonna
was
do?
just like, what was I gonna do? I don't know. It's just like a cool toy.
Yeah.
But then I decided like, I don't really want to spend that much time learning.
Yeah. Is it worth the money that you're gonna spend on a small printer even too? How much use are you gonna get out of it?
Like I know I could get into it, but then I would have to stop doing some other stuff. So
Yeah. And you already do so much stuff. You have a podcast, you do book reviews,
Yeah.
you read a lot of books, you have work, the gym, bouldering.
yeah, I find overloading myself is a good way to get used to being overwhelmed.
Yeah. Good
At the
strategy.
same time, it's just like I don't know. I find it hard to chill if I have nothing to do. So if I'm just doing too much, at some point I just like, all right, I have to scale it back. I think I can relax for a day.
Yeah. And then you feel like you earn it.
Feel like
right?
antsy. It's like I want to do some more stuff.
Interesting. I
Yeah.
feel like that if I've been doing a lot of stuff and then something drops off, like a school project,
Oh yeah.
and then I'm like, oh, I have this, like, I have to fill this void now. Like, what can I do?
Yeah.
I don't know if you feel the same way. I
Um,
feel like you have more on your plate though with all of the shit you have to do.
I guess. I think I don't know. I have a lot of long-term things, but
Mhm.
I do enjoy closing a chapter, so to speak.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what it would be now that I'm doing. Because like a podcast is more
It's ongoing.
kind of open. I don't really have an end date plan. Reading is like a lifelong thing. Working out, running, swimming, bouldering,
Yeah, I forgot this one.
taking a break now. It's too many things.
Yeah. That was the thing to go.
So let me think. What do I want to close off? Like for example, my laptop. I think it's 8 years, 7 years old
Oh,
now.
wow.
I'm not changing it now, but when I would, it would be like a whole process. Like for me,
Really?
all right, let me transfer it to an external drive. Let me go through all my files, delete whatever I don't need.
Yeah, yeah.
Deleting stuff makes me feel great. It's just like mentally, it's out of my mind. Because if I have I have a Word file or with some notes in it,
Yeah.
I'll just scan through it, and I'll be like, I don't need to remember this. Delete, and then mentally, I feel great. It's just
Interesting. I get more anxiety deleting things. Like when I have to switch over my phone, before it became so simple where you just scan over it and not transfer it, I used to hate it. Like I wouldn't get a new cell phone. Like, yeah, my mom had this scare, I think, one day where she had all her pictures backed up on a hard drive. And my brother was like young and messing around on the computer and deleted them all. So ever since then, I'm like, oh, I probably need that. Like, let me put it on like Google Drive or something. Like, I don't delete anything, which is awful. Like, I have pictures of screenshots of random shit that I'm like, am I gonna need this? Like, maybe. Like,
maybe.
yeah, it's like a Pokemon thing, and I have no idea why I'm never need it.
I
Yeah.
think for you, it would be a good practice to like pick one picture in a week and be okay with deleting.
I think so too. I have like over 3,000 pictures. Like,
Yeah.
so probably, oh, just on my phone. So honestly, probably. Maybe I should put that on my
I think that's good, right? Like, because whatever it is, whether it's deleting a picture or finishing a school project, it's like knowing it's finished. It opens up extra space in your mental well-being or whatever.
I know.
I don't know if you notice that with like just general stress. Like, say you're going through something, or like maybe your friend got injured, you have to take them to emergency or something, and then you find out everything's okay, it's not serious.
Oh
You
my
just
God.
you feel that arc of like you worry, what's going on, and then you kind of crescendo.
Yeah, it's almost like a book essentially, where the what is it called? Is it the climb?
Yeah, the plot builds to the climax of it.
Yes, yeah. It is that instance, I think, gratification where you're like, oh, that's done, or oh, she's okay, or whatever it may be. I think that kind of like high point of worrying
Mhm.
is always so adrenaline rush. And I don't love that feeling. Like, I think I'd rather my whole life be super calm than those
Mhm.
highs and lows. But it is nice at the very end where you're like, oh my God, thank God. Like, when I was done that book report yesterday and I submitted it, I was like, oh my God, this is like a reality. I'm like, instantly I went to bed and I slept better. I woke up this morning and I was like, I don't think I have anything to do. Like, I can just like put my feet up for a day. Like, it felt nice.
Those are the best, you know.
Yes, especially like I think we've been working on this book report for like 4 months, three
Oh,
months.
wow.
Yeah, I mean, like you can start it whenever essentially.
Right.
Like some of my friends started a month before it was due. Like I started it 3 months ago, read the majority of it, loafed it a couple months. But like that final end point, like I stressed over like it for probably the last week really hard just to get it all finished. And my expectations for my schoolwork is very high.
Yeah.
So when I was finally done that, like my boyfriend bought me a little congratulation card because
Yeah.
I've been working on it for
It's-
so long. Yeah, like it was just so funny, right?
yeah.
But oh my God, it was the best thing ever. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
It's hard, you know. I do like that kind of even keeled kind of lifestyle, but I've tried for a long time to kind of go with that.
yeah, not for
But
you.
nowadays, like personally, I found after a while, it takes more effort to maintain a flat
Interesting.
line
Yeah.
because like the more you are flatline, the less um, the harder it is to adapt to peaks and valleys.
That can explain a little bit.
So kind of what I've done is I don't know if it's cheating, but like my uh purposeful, you know, tough activity in the day. I can train hard or not train hard. I can run longer or not run longer. Um, I can try a harder climb or a simpler climb, right? So I kind of am able to use that to balance out things I can't control, like you know, in
Interesting.
life. You know, you have a family crisis or you know something serious happens, you have to kind of all hands in. And then yeah, that's like never planned. So you get kind of caught up, you're stressed out, whatever, but it's not under my control. But I do know there's always a peak and a valley.
Mhm.
Like at the end of the day, even if you're stressed out, I have a routine. So I know like even if I'm up here and my normal is down here, but at a stressful time, even if I can come down a little bit. That's great. So
So do you push yourself so that extra like maybe mile in a run or extra couple reps in a workout is that your like hard for the day then essentially on like a
um
given day?
not in the gym. Like I won't go hard in the gym because
Yeah.
I don't want to get hurt.
Yeah. Of course.
If a trainer is there and they tell me to go hard, I'll do it because
Okay.
I'm
You have
just like,
guidance.
okay, I don't have to worry about getting hurt.
Yeah.
Running, I might do that. I might like, for example, if I'm doing a 10K, I might do an extra 1K just so I know next time. Like, if I can do a 10, I can do a little more. You know,
Yeah.
mentally, it's just like you're ready. I think that I don't know. Like the hard things would just be if I'm feeling overwhelmed, I'll be like, all right, let me see if I can go like another extra couple of steps.
I see. Yeah.
And then you know, but there's always got to be an off ramp. Like I never want to be on the on ramp all the
All the
time.
time. Yeah. But you're right though, because I think you train yourself for those like anxiety driven times that you might not be ready for.
Yeah, exactly.
Where I don't think I do that very much. So I like that. Yeah.
I don't know. It might just come with experience too.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, for sure.
But
But well, it's kind of like building yourself outside of your comfort zone, right? You have to do it
yes,
little by little, and then it builds up that tolerance to your new like the
yes.
comfort zone is a lot bigger.
Well, that's what I like because I think for many years I was very comfortable. It's like you know, I ran, like I did track and field, but like it would be go to school, come home, do homework, or go to school, track and field, come home, do homework. Same kind of routine, just studying really hard, and then after years and years of that, you're just like it gets boring. You feel like you feel kind of more sad. It's just like, I don't know what's going on.
You have no spontaneity.
Yeah,
Spontaneity.
it's like a rigid thing, and
Yeah.
then you kind of convince yourself, oh, I think I just need to watch a movie. Then it helps for a bit, and you kind of repeat.
But then it makes it worse, actually. The movie aspect of it, yeah.
I think overall, it's just like life's a balancing act.
Yeah. And there's a time and place where I think, when you're in high school or college, you need to study that hard for an
Yeah,
extended period of time. And then you need to, close that chapter like you
yeah,
did, right? Get a job and now find hobbies when you can financially support yourself, right?
yeah,
It's different. It really is. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. It's probably a good place to end.